It is 5:15 on the 28th of April. This will be the Board of Commissioners for the City of Bismarck meeting in a moment, but first we'll start with Pledge of Allegiance and Invocation. Chaplain Deacon Tony Turnus, please.
Pledge first?
The invocation first. I turned the order, sorry. Yeah.
Let's pray. Lord our God, we love you and we thank you for the many gifts you have given us in this beautiful city of Bismarck. Come to us, remain with us, enlighten our hearts, give us light and strength to know your will, to make it our own, and to live it in our lives. Guide us by your wisdom, support us by your power. You desire justice for all, enable us to uphold the rights of others. Do not allow us to be misled by ignorance or corrupted by fear or favor. Unite us to yourself in the bond of love and keep us faithful to all that is true. May you guide all our decisions so that they may be pleasing to you and earn for us the reward promised to good and faithful servants. We ask this through Jesus Christ our Lord. Amen. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you, sir. If we can call roll to call the meeting to order, please.
Commissioner Risch?
Here.
Commissioner Zanker?
Here.
Commissioner Connolly?
Here.
Commissioner Cleary? Here. Mayor Schmitz?
Here. First item on the agenda is public comment. I think we'll go ahead and I'm going to switch the order if I don't mind because I got 5 proclamations first, and then we'll come back to public comment. First one is, whereas in 1872, J. Sterling Morton proposed to the Nebraska Board of Agriculture that days be set aside for the planting of trees, and whereas this holiday called Arbor Day was first observed with the planting of more than 1 million trees in Nebraska. Therefore, be it resolved that I, Mayor Schmitz, on behalf of the Commission, do hereby proclaim May 1st, 2026 as Arbor Day. I urge all citizens to celebrate Arbor Day and support the efforts to protect our trees and woodlands, and further, I urge all citizens to plant trees to gladden the heart and promote the well-being of this and future generations. Signed the 28th of April, 2026. The next one is for bicycles. Whereas the bicycle is an economical, healthy, convenient, and environmentally sound form of transportation and an excellent tool for recreation and enjoyment of the city of Bismarck's scenic beauty. Therefore, be it resolved that I, Michael Schmitz, Mayor of the City of Bismarck, on behalf of this commission, do hereby proclaim May 2026 as Bike Month in the City of Bismarck and urge all residents to join me in this special observance, signed today, the 28th of April, 2026. The next one. Whereas the National Trust for Historic Preservation established May as Historic Preservation Month in 1973 as a way to promote historic places for the purposes of instilling nation and community pride, promoting heritage, tourism, and showing the social and economic benefits of historic preservation. Therefore, be it resolved that I, Michael Schmitz, Mayor of the City of Bismarck, on behalf of this commission, do hereby proclaim the month of May as Historic Preservation Month in the City of Bismarck, and I encourage all citizens to join me in this worthy observance. Signed the 28th of April, 2026. Whereas the landscape architects play a vital role in shaping the nature and built environments of the City of Bismarck, creating outdoor spaces that are functional, sustainable, and visibly appealing. Therefore, be it resolved that I, Michael Schmitz, Mayor of the City of Bismarck, on behalf of this commission, do hereby proclaim April as Landscape Architects Month. I urge all citizens to celebrate and recognize the contributions of landscape architects in creating healthy, resilient, and vibrant communities. Signed the 28th of April, 2026. And the last one. Whereas small businesses are the engine of the American economy and the foundation of free and prosperous nation, accounting for more than 99% of all private sector employers and creating nearly 2 out of every 3 new jobs nationwide. Therefore, be it resolved that I, Michael Schmitz, Mayor of the City of Bismarck, on behalf of this commission, do hereby proclaim May 3rd through May 9th of 2026 as Small Business Week in Bismarck. Urge all citizens to support small businesses and celebrate their many achievements and contributions to the daily fabric of our community. Signed the 28th of April, 2026. So, thank you for indulging me with those. 5 of them. Now we'll move to public comment. Public comment is open for anything on the consent agenda or the regular agenda that's not a public hearing or anything on the previous commission meeting agenda. A second call for public comment. A third and final call for public comment. Seeing no one, hearing no one, the public comment period is now closed. Commissioners, what are your wishes with regard to the consent agenda?
Mayor, if I could,
Certainly.
I have one item, the encroachment agreement for Next Play LLC. I just want to disclose that I've been working with that group to design it and do that work. And if anybody's got an issue with me voting on that, then we'll pull that item.
I have no concern.
No problem.
With that, I'll make a motion to approve the consent agenda.
Second.
Any discussion? All in favor? Call roll.
We could have done it that way.
Commissioner Zanker?
Yes.
Commissioner Connolly?
Yes.
Commissioner Cleary?
Yes.
Commissioner Risch?
Yes.
Mayor Schmitz?
Yes. Moving to the regular agenda, we have a request to receive a presentation from Bismarck Public Schools Superintendent Dr. Fosnot on the 2026 bond referendum. So go ahead, sir. You have the floor.
Good evening, Commissioners. Good evening, Mr. Mayor. Thank you for giving us some time this evening to just give you maybe what we call the abbreviated slide deck as we've been going around the community to talk about what we're characterizing, as you said, the 2026 bond for some maintenance and facilities work. And if you're okay, I'll just go through a few quick slides with you. So thank you for the kind introduction. Again, I have the privilege of being superintendent for the best and the largest school district in the state of North Dakota, nearly almost 14,000 kids, and get the opportunity to represent them every day and 28,000 parents, and I love my job every single day, so including stressful days like this in front of you and everybody else in the community. But just a little background and how we got here, just quickly. This has been the district's had a long-range facility plan for years. It's been around. It's had different iterations. Actor Dr. Scher's here, Director of Business and Operations. We've done this multiple times. Just came to us this summer again from our school board who just said, update it, get it ready. We need to continue to work on this important work. So they did that. We presented it to my board in January, and then it's been everything from that's been a path forward. How do we work to complete this important work? And I'll characterize some of that for you. And for people who want to know more, I gave you the link on the screen to find that. It's right on the front of the BPS website, bismarckschools.org. There's a big button at the top, 2026 bond, and we've been adding content to that to address questions and provide full transparency in what we're asking. Every single day we add something to it, I swear. So if I break it down into really big buckets, the first one is modernizing and improving efficiency. That's what we would characterize as all those mechanical systems primarily that live behind the walls and in the ceilings and the basements of our buildings that need updating. We're going to put a lot of effort into that. And then the other main buckets, what we call programmatic, is making sure we keep our students safe and supported, dealing with some growth areas in the district, responsible growth, and then also just community. Our role is part of a greater community, and I think we have a distinct role in that as we move forward. So when we talk about maintenance and HVAC systems, boilers, heating units, electrical systems, it could be fire warning systems, those are all things behind the scenes. Oh, sorry, that's on my screen. Yeah, what am I doing? Thank you very much. I don't know. I have a meeting. I'm supposed to be somewhere, I guess. Probably tell me to be here. Actually, it's those systems are what people don't see behind the scenes, and it's. I would want to applaud our maintenance crew. We're spending $4 to $6 million a year on maintenance in the district. I think that's a significant investment. But we talk about those things like boilers, like heating units, air conditioning, ventilation systems. Again, they have a lifespan, just like the roof on your house, the furnace in your house, and even with the best maintenance, there is a time. There's a time it needs to be replaced. Hopefully you've seen recently on our social media, we talked about the boiler at BHS being 70 years old. I think that's a feat of nature, a feat of miraculous feat that our team's been able to keep that operational, but it has a time, and it's at its time it needs replaced. That's just one example. Again, I would share, you get this as well. Those things don't get better with time. They're not going to heal themselves. They're not going to be cheaper next year. That's why we think it's really important. We got to attack this problem now versus putting it off any longer. And you can see that maintenance work, that facilities work is across the 22 different sites in our district. When we talk about keeping students safe, really, this is a key point for us, something that we know we have to deal with, regardless of how the outcome of the bond would come, is we have schools, and we represent them by their logos on the screen for you and the public, that still suffer from not having fully accessible bathrooms. And I would tell you that's not just a student issue, but that's also an adult issue. It's for the people that come visit our schools. It's for the grandmas and grandpas that come and visit. I think in 2026, we should be able to accommodate those needs. And that's something that's high on our priority list. And you have 3 schools, Wilmore, Pioneer, Prairie Rose, that are multi-story facilities that don't have an elevator. And I've said this multiple times, we are doing unique accommodations for families, everything from carrying students up and down stairs, that's happened in the past, to moving classrooms mid-year if someone has an accessibility issue temporarily, to moving kids outside the building to get into a lower level, and transferring kids to different schools. They don't get the opportunity to go to their neighborhood school, they go to a different school that can accommodate their needs. Again, we think an expectation for the community, your facilities and mine probably, that they're fully accessible to those people in our community. I think if I can steal the words of our pastor, it was in our invocation this morning, fighting for the rights of others. That was good enough for the prayer. It's good enough for the work that we're doing every single day. So we think that's high priority work. Also, we talk about supported. I'm going to focus primarily on the fine arts. One of the things that we heard from our community, Century community, was having equal opportunities across the district for kids to demonstrate their learning and performance. So one of the things you'll find in the plan is enhancing our fine arts spaces at Century. I hope you've had the opportunity to be in Legacy. I hope you've had the opportunity to be in BHS. Those are outstanding performance areas for kids that show their talents in the fine arts areas, be it drama or orchestra or band. Centuries needs an update as compared to the other ones to give our kids those potentials to demonstrate their full capacity. So that's also in the plan. When we do some additions, which is in the plan, do some multipurpose room additions on several schools, primarily our south side schools that are a little older, not designed with those spaces, and where we see some growth, like Solheim area. We've been talking about those multipurpose room spaces. That's good for us during the day. It's also really good for our community. It's good for after-school programming. We have about 350 kids between Parks and Korea that are waiting for an after-school childcare placement. Every time we build those out, gives us an opportunity to expand those programs with our partners. And if you see on there, we're renting facilities across BPS for 130 hours a day, Monday through Saturday. We are busy, and that's a community facility. We use them for Girl Scouts, Boy Scouts, to youth rec, adult rec. So when we build out those facilities, we think that's an absolute win for the community and for us during this school day. So if we get into the money, which everybody gets to the money eventually, you can see that this is inside of our long-range facility plan. I would make sure to share with you, the district has a plan to get on top of this and stay on top of it. To get on top of it, we need community support. To stay on top of it, we're committing our maintenance dollars and additional dollars to deal with what we'd call the green categories. Let's stay on top of this, so 15 years from now, when someone else has the privilege of leading this district, because I will not be working that long, I'll be well past retirement age by then, that it's not someone else's problem. And we think this is our plan to address that in the future. But when you add up all the colored categories and the programmatic work, it's 127 million. That's where we came up with that number. And the tax impact on 127 million using valuations for the school district as of last winter when those tax statements came out, for every $100,000, a true and full value on your home. And remember, that's different than business because the calculation is different. But on your home, that would be $4.07 a month. We think that is a ask. It is significant. I don't at all downplay that the school's asking for additional dollars from our taxpayers. That's not an easy thing, but we do think it's a reasonable ask, and I will quantify that by showing you some other school districts that have recently done this similar work. I saw another school district just today promoting a June 9th election in a small town. When you look at other Class 2A schools that have recently run referendums for school construction and maintenance costs, you can see, due in part to the good work that you do every single meeting and every single day, we're a growing, thriving community. I think you say there's about 1,000 new residents every year that move into our community. That's kids that get into our schools. But because of that, because we're growing and thriving, we can do this good work across Bismarck Public for less impact on our taxpayers than any of these other communities have done just recently. And I would point you to Valley City in the upper left of that screen. They went to the legislature 2 times looking for assistance to help build schools. And we know that because our legislators have said so, schools are local issues. Local schools, local communities are supposed to address facilities. And so, again, that's why we are coming to our taxpayers and to our citizens here in June. So my job is not to tell you to vote yes. It's not to tell you vote no. I just get to tell you the facts. I don't get to lean you one way or the other. But I would tell people it's important to go out and vote. And I say not only for this question is important, but I have a board of 5 as well. 3 seats are open. So it's not only beneficial for the question, but it's to fill those vacancies that are coming to my board as well. We have one incumbent running, Mrs. Amanda Peterson, but we also have some candidates. One of is in the room tonight that are vying for those spots. And I would answer any questions you may have. That's the very abbreviated version. So,
Anyone have questions? I just appreciate you bringing it, presenting it, because I think it's just important to get the information out as many ways as we can as to the need and the purpose. So, thank you.
thank you.
Thanks, Jeff. Thanks, sir.
Next is to consider request to receive the Dakota West Arts Council 2025 annual report. And Dr. Toms?
Hello. Thank you for having me here. We have a number of our folks from Dakota West Arts Council community. Josh Johnson, our board president, Andrea Burst, who's a partner with Capital City Christmas, and Chris Kitko, who's there as one of our lead teachers who are here with us today. Great. So I just created a small annual report for you here. And to share a little bit about what we've done. This is my about the end of my second year of being here with the Dakota West Arts Council. Our mission is to serve our community in celebrating art in the everyday by cultivating and supporting all types of creative exploration and cultural artistic expression. When I took over DWAC a year and a half ago or so, we had no really active members because we had kind of fallen off for about 6 months before I became executive director. We now have 47 paid active members for organizations, arts professionals, and community arts supporters. This includes pretty much every single major arts organization in our community, the Symphony, Dakota Stage, the Civic Chorus, Children's Choir, Northern Plains Dance. They're all a part of what Dakota West Arts Council does. And one of the big things that we've tried to do is kind of act almost like a chamber of commerce in the arts for those folks. We really work to help promote what they're doing, what they have, what they bring to our community. And this year, we have a new partner, which is Capital City Christmas. We are their fiscal sponsor, so we helped them manage their funds and helped them write their grant checks. And that really is a major project that happens in our community in November and December. This is a list of all the members that we currently have. And you can see there's just a wide variety of folks. Individual artists. We also have folks like Dakota Media Access, who's a partner with us, the Gateway to Science, Glance Spa, and a couple other organizations in there. I would also point out Sacred Pipe Resource Center and some of the other community groups. The North Dakota Art Project actually is over based in Mandan, so we have a few of our members who span across the river. One of the things that we really tried to work hard on in the last year and a half, has been to create a community arts calendar. When I arrived here in Bismarck 6 years ago, and for 4 years, all I heard was people say, "Oh, I wish we had an arts calendar." And so that became the number one and primary project that I had. We got a grant from the Leach Foundation to help us to create a community arts calendar. We updated our website, and so now you can go onto our website here. Dakota West Arts Council, this is our homepage, and you can see up in the top corner their community arts calendar. We have these organizations that are there that are all kind of our hosts, and you can go there and find events all the time. It's really neat. You can click on it. You can get right to a ticket. It'll show you where on a map it's located. It'll give you lots of information. We even have business profiles, artist profiles that you can go and find out how to donate, all these things. So this was a major project. Now, the Bismarck-Mandan Convention and Visitors Bureau has created maybe what we've been all waiting for is a wide, community-wide thing. But I just met with them last week. We are working in synergy together. So they're pulling events that are related to the arts, because that was one of their biggest weaknesses at the Convention and Visitor Bureau, didn't have a lot of arts events in their schedules. And so we're helping them, and we're also working with Dakota Media Access on creating better partnerships together. We created a summer arts calendar last summer. We're going to do that again this year. We also created a holiday calendar, and these were actually in print, which you would think, why would anybody want to in print? There's lots of people who want it in print. They want to put it on their refrigerator and be able to look at it. This summer arts calendar that we created last summer had 140 different events that people could attend between June and the end of August. And we're in the process of getting ready to do that. We want to do it from Memorial Day through the United Tribes Powwow. We want to have that entire zone in this summer's arts calendar. And then we did one for the holiday season, which folks could then find out where all the holiday concerts are between middle of November and the middle of January, which included Winterfest. One of our biggest programming things that we've been doing for a number of years and is getting stronger and stronger is a partnership with Bismarck Parks and Recreation District. And it is Kids Summer Stage, and that's what Chris Kitko helps lead in the summer. It's 10 weeks, every single Wednesday at noon at Custer Park. We have a kind of a music education experience, a concert experience, and last year we added craft or art experience. It's like an hour and a half of opportunity for especially younger kids and families to be there. There was at least a few times where we had buses pull up from camps in town, and we had, I think one day, 120 folks at one of our Kids Summer Stage events. It's really a great opportunity. It means a lot to our community, but we can do it pretty responsibly when it comes to funding. And then we have the Summer Song Series, which happens at General Sibley Park. one time a month. Last year, because it was so popular in previous years, we added May. So we do May, June, July, and August. And we offer a free concert in the park, an opportunity for folks just to come. And last year we had probably the most perfect weather every single day. It was just like comfortable. And we were excited. Laughing Sun has been a good partner with us, and they bring out their beer van, and so it's a good opportunity to just kind of relax. This year, General Sibley's having some construction, so our August, we're actually going to probably try to move that into town here and try to bring it so that it's more central in August. But otherwise, we're doing this again this year, and this is really a very successful program. And the last major thing that we've done in the last year, and we restarted this last year, was restarting the arts grants for DWAC members. And a good portion of that funding that we give out in grants comes from what the city is allotting to Dakota West Arts Council to do our work. And so this year we've awarded out $26,750 in arts grants to arts organizations and professionals. Our priorities this year, and in fact, our priorities have changed from what Dakota West Arts Council was doing 4 or 5 years ago, which was more operational support. Now, our grants are focused on 3 components. So this year, providing more free and reduced price admissions to concerts, programming to people in Bismarck and the surrounding community. We're really trying to get folks to think about what they can add into our community that's free. And also challenging the organizations in our community that pretty much only live on tickets to say, can you open your dress rehearsals to folks in our community who may not be able to afford to come to the concert? Can you open this up? Can you make arts more accessible to every person? Second is to work to find ways to reach new audiences that might not traditionally attend events, and that's the goal of the open rehearsals is part of it, but also challenging folks to be out in the community. One of the partnerships we had last year, which we'll do again this year, is that we're working with BAGA at Capitol Fair, and we've created what we called last year Kids Zone. And it was just free arts and crafts opportunities for kids in one part of Capitol Fair, but also had performances and things like that, all for free, so that this was an opportunity for folks to do that. And we heard a lot of good feedback saying, thank God there was something for my kids to do, because we needed a break. We needed just to sit down for a little while, and that was good. And this year especially, we challenged folks to celebrate the 250th anniversary of the United States as they were applying for grants, and we have a lot of good opportunities. And so these are all the grantees who got grants this year. You can see a number of organizations, a number of individuals, and all of this programming happens between February and August of this year that we gave this money for. And so that's what we have. Any questions?
Thank you, sir, for the presentation.
Thank you.
Yeah, just
Commissioner
thank
Rich.
you for what you do for our community. Appreciate that, Dr. Todd.
Oh, thank you very much.
Thank you. Item 3, or C, I guess. Public hearing on application to transfer the alcohol license from Matt Pack Properties LLC to LPM LLC at 2150 East Thayer. This is a public hearing. Anyone wish to speak to this, please come forward.
Good evening. My name is Rich Steidler. I'm the executive director at Backpack Wrestling. So basically, nothing crazy or nefarious here. It's just we created a separate LLC, still owned by Matt Pack Wrestling, basically to insulate maybe some of the liabilities that go with owning a bar, to separate it from the rest of what we do. So that's basically the gist of what it is. So still nothing changing on the ownership group or anything, just a separate LLC.
Okay. Anyone have questions? Commissioner Risch?
Mr. Mayor, how many bars does Matt Pack or whatever the LLC is going to be called?
We just own the 2.
You own 2 bars?
Just the 2, correct.
Okay.
Yep.
It's a not-for-profit enterprise, Matt Pack, or is it for-profit?
It's a non-for-profit, Matt Pack is, but The LLC is a for-profit. So this is a for-profit, you know, pay the taxes just like everybody else. It's run completely separate off of everything else we do. So it's actually a separate board kind of that runs it too, so.
So the profits will go to MatPac or to individuals?
The profit goes to running the bar and paying the loans. The bar basically has to stand on its own 2 feet, you know, so the money will be reinvested into that. No individuals are getting paid from this to enrich themselves. It just, if there was excess, it would go into the MatPac wrestling, basically. Yeah.
Okay. Any other questions? No? Okay.
Thank you.
Yep. It is a public hearing. Anyone else who wish to speak, please come forward. A second call for public comment. A third and final call for public comment. Public comment period is now closed. Commissioners, what are your wishes?
Move to approve?
Second.
Is there any discussion? Hearing none, we'll call roll.
Commissioner Connolly,
Yes.
Commissioner Cleary,
Yes.
Commissioner Risch,
Yes.
Commissioner Zanker,
Yes.
Mayor Schmitz.
Yes. Item D is a public hearing for an application to transfer the alcohol license from MatPac Properties LLC to LPM LLC at 804 East Main. I'm assuming the same comments. I forgot to ask you to sign in when you were up here. I should have done that. I apologize. So as he's doing this, is there anyone else who wishes to come to speak? A second call for public comment. A third and final call for public comment. Seeing no one and hearing no one, public comment period is closed. Commissioners,
I'll move we approve as presented.
Second?
is there any discussion? Hearing none, we'll call roll.
Commissioner Cleary,
Yes.
Commissioner Risch,
Yes.
Commissioner Zanker,
Yes.
Commissioner Connolly,
Yes.
Mayor Schmitz.
Yes. Item E is a public hearing on an application to transfer the alcohol license from Doublewood of Bismarck, Inc. to GHM Bismarck Holding Company LLC at 1400 East Interchange Avenue. It's a public hearing. Anyone wish to speak, please come forward. And again, sign in as you introduce yourself, please.
Clinton Goring, General Manager of the Ramada in Bismarck here. It's just the old owner sold at the end of the year, and then the bank has now bought it, so it's just that transfer there.
Okay.
Thank you.
Any questions? Again, anyone who wishes to speak, please come forward. Did you have a question?
Move to approve as presented.
Second?
Well, I didn't close the public hearing
We'll
yet.
close it.
Any other comments? Seeing no one coming forward, we'll close the public comment period. Go ahead, Commissioner. Commissioners, whichever you prefer.
Julie, can we just use that or not? Make a motion to approve as presented.
Second?
Any discussion?
It'll be in the minutes twice, but let's go.
Hearing none, we'll call roll.
Commissioner Risch,
Yes.
Commissioner Zanker,
Yes.
Commissioner Connolly,
Yes.
Commissioner Cleary,
Yes.
Mayor Schmitz.
Yes. Item F, public hearing on ordinance 6659, a zoning map amendment from A agricultural zoning district to RR residential zoning district in the Cruz subdivision, major subdivision final plat. Good, Daniel.
Good evening, Mayor, Commissioners. This is a request from Lito Cruz, Damaris Torres Villegas, and Vernon Barber Hoover. And it's a request for a zoning map amendment, as you mentioned, from agricultural to residential, and for a plat of Cruz subdivision. The location, it's actually due south of the city of Lincoln. This is in an area that was within our extraterritorial area when this application was submitted, which is why it continued through to today for your consideration. It is no longer within the extraterritorial area. This is in a location that is now under the jurisdiction of Burleigh County. This particular subdivision is a 2-lot, 1-block subdivision on the south side of 48th Avenue Southeast. The intent would be for a reconstruction of a residential home on Lot 2. Lot 1, there is no immediate plans in the future for development. The plan does comply with the future land use plan, which designates this as rural residential, and also the major street plan because of the dedication of right-of-way of 48th Avenue Southeast on the north side. And what's the name of the street on the east side? That would be Pinewood Loop. So right-of-way is dedicated for those streets. There are some existing structures that would be within that right-of-way that are there today and inside of the area to be dedicated. Those remain as non-conforming structures, so they couldn't be improved or added onto, but they could remain in place as is. And they would be within, and the Burleigh County Highway Department has affirmed that, and there is a note on the plat to affirm that as well. The Planning and Zoning Commission did hold a public hearing on this request on March 25th of 2026 and recommended approval of the zoning map amendment from A agricultural to R residential in the major subdivision final plat titled Cruise Subdivision. If you have any questions, I can attempt to answer.
Are there any questions? Commissioner Conley?
Now, even though it's out of our ETA, doesn't Lincoln have their own ETA, and does it fall within that?
So Commissioner Connolly, Lincoln does have their own ETA, but it does not fall within that. It's under, my understanding is it's not within their ETA unless they would choose to expand that into the future.
Okay, it's good for Commissioner Risch and I to know, because we're on the Burleigh County Board. Thanks.
Any other questions? Doesn't look like it, Daniel. This is a public hearing. Anyone who wishes to speak to this, please come forward. A second call for public comment. A third and final call for public comment. Seeing no one coming forward and hearing no one, public comment period is closed. Commissioners, what are your wishes?
Move to approve as presented.
Second.
Is there any discussion? Hearing none, we'll call roll.
Commissioner Zaker?
Yes.
Commissioner Connolly?
Yes.
Commissioner Cleary? Yes. Commissioner Risch?
Yes.
Mayor Schmitz?
Yes. Next, item G is public hearing on ordinance 6661, a zoning ordinance text amendment to section 140419 floodplain district and updated references. I'll let you finish it, Daniel.
Sure. Thank you again, Mayor, Commissioners. So this is a request brought to you by the Planning Department as a zoning ordinance text amendment, and it's quite simple. The full text of the amendment is shown on the screen, also shown in your packet. It's simply to update the references within our ordinance to align with Century Code after changes to the law made in the floodplain chapter there. So North Dakota Department of Water Resources is asking local governments to make these changes just to stay in line with the Century Code. The Planning and Zoning Commission did hold a public hearing on this request on March 25th, 2026. Based on findings contained in your staff report, did recommend approval. I can answer any questions you may have.
Any questions? Doesn't look like it. So, again, this is a public hearing. Anyone wish to speak to this, please come forward. A second call for public comment. A third and final call for public comment. Seeing no one coming forward and hearing no one, public comment period is now closed. Commissioners, what are your wishes?
Move to approve as presented.
Second.
Is there any discussion? Hearing none, we'll call roll.
Commissioner Connolly?
Yes.
Commissioner Cleary? Yes. Commissioner Risch?
Yes.
Commissioner Zanker?
Yes.
Mayor Schmitz?
Yes. Item H, consider request for approval of a Renaissance Zone rehabilitation and commercial lease projects at 407 North 4th Street. Go ahead, Daniel.
Thank you, Mayor, Commissioners. Andrea Burst, owner of Glance Spa and Salon, and the property owner of Jab Investments LLC are requesting approval of a rehabilitation Renaissance Zone project and a commercial lease Renaissance Zone project. The location, as you mentioned, is 407 North 4th Street. This is an entirely interior remodel to the building, the portion of the building that is occupied by the Glance Spa and Salon. The intent would be to facilitate expansion of that business by updating and remodeling the building. The proposed investment would be $588,973, which does exceed the minimum thresholds to qualify for the property tax exemption. The Just as a reminder of how this works, the property tax portion of the Renaissance Zone would be an exemption of the increment between the pre-project level of assessment and whatever that assessment would be after the project is completed. We've estimated that as you see on the screen here, that it's just an estimate. It will be confirmed once the assessing department does take that measurement after the project is completed. And there is also an income tax exemption as a portion of this. So the spa and salon as a commercial lease would be eligible for a 5-year income tax exemption on their state income taxes. The Renaissance Zone Authority did hold a public hearing on April 9th, and based on the findings in your staff report, recommend approval of the rehabilitation and commercial lease Renaissance Zone projects at the site. There was one condition to their approval. They were looking for a certificate of good standing from one of the applicants. That has since been found, and we have that on file right now. So that condition has been met. I know the property owner is here as well and can answer some more detailed questions if you'd like to know about the nature of the project.
Okay, commissioners, questions? So I do, because I've already heard part of this once already last week. So my question is around the improvements and what of those improvements are specific to a salon and why a salon, which we have multiple in the city outside of the Renaissance Zone, should qualify, and what would that, I mean, I know we've estimated the potential improvement value, but like, I'm kind of struggling with this. It's an interior remodel. The building's already there. It's operating. We're not rehabilitating a vacant space.
Sure, and if I may, if the property owner is willing to give it a little more
And
detail.
that's fine. I don't care who answers.
Okay.
Those are just, that's been my struggle with this. I'm just,
Thank you, Mayor and Commissioners. If your question is the updates being done during this remodel project or what are specific to the salon, my answer is similar to last week when I was on the call. None of it's really salon specific except for one room, which will be renovated plumbing wise, electrically as well, to house a couple specific treatment beds to offer water services. So we need specific plumbing and draining for those specific beds. So outside of those two beds, none of the actual fixtures as far as plumbing or electrical is salon specific. Does that answer your question?
that part, so go ahead, Commissioner, I'll let you go ahead.
What kind of beds? Tanning beds? Or?
No, they're for water services, so head spa beds, body treatment beds to allow for not necessarily massage, but services that you need water to perform. So that's why the plumbing has to be right under the bed. So that would be the only interesting modification, if you will.
So are there areas of the building that structurally need remodeling and improvement? I mean, I'm trying to get my head around the purpose of the Renaissance Zone and why it was there in the first place and how this fits that.
Sure. So structurally, it is an older building, and so one of the bigger structural projects is removing an old staircase to expand the area and rehabilitate the floor and just to create space. That's be the biggest structural remodel. Otherwise, it's moving walls to make the space a bit more efficient to, work in that area, add proper plumbing, electrical needs for each individual treatment room as well. Right now, we don't have any plumbing in those rooms, so it's really hard to perform any service as far as our industry in those rooms. Updating the bathroom facilities as well. Pretty much just everything needs an update. I've been in that space for 16 years and haven't been able to address any of the needs for this area. I have in other areas of the building, not just this spa area. Our windows are all going to be replaced as well. Very much needed. They currently are all broken and have styrofoam in them to keep for heating and cooling issues. So does that help?
So those are the exterior windows, probably those we can't see from the street front then.
From the alleyway. You can
Okay.
see them from the
Okay,
alleyway. not the
that
street.
helps me. It helps me
Yeah.
understand. I was trying to get my head around some of this.
Yeah, so this area is on the east side of the building on the upper level.
Okay. Anybody else have questions?
I mean, I guess it's probably not for you, it's probably more for Daniel, and just like
Yeah.
a little bit of clarification, because I understand what you're saying, trying to get at, like, what is the specifics of this? And so, Daniel, please correct me if I'm wrong, it's been a minute since we've talked about Renaissance Zone. But with some of this stuff, especially rehab projects, I feel like the point or the reason for Renaissance Zone existing and being in very specific areas of the community is more about like the age of the building and what surrounds it and how there's limitations with the things you can do to it and how it gets more expensive because of the infill all around it and the age of the building. And like, that's why she would have access to something like this versus a spa built outside of the Renaissance area. Is that correct? Like, it has more to do with the building, not necessarily the purpose. To me, that feels more like Vision Fund, where it's like we want to make sure we're expanding the growth of certain types of businesses.
Sure, I think that is a good point. And the Renaissance Zone program is governed by our Renaissance Zone Development Plan. And really, the intent of that is to see a district-wide approach to revitalization. And so I think you're right. It's not each individual building standing on its own. The business development is an important part of it, but I think also the upkeep and improvement of the infrastructure and the just the bones, you should say, I guess, of the district are probably the most important part of this. And so, yeah, I think that's a good point.
Okay, thank you.
Commissioner Zinker.
Mayor, Commissioners, since RZ is my portfolio, I could, we have certain discussions at those meetings as well, right? So in that, and Daniel, correct me in case I get some wrong verbiage here or anything, but within that confines or ordinances for the Renaissance Zone, it doesn't say anything about specific businesses or anything. It's all about the building. So obviously there's some dilapidation to the building if she's got foam in the windows and those types of things for 16 years. So that would help enhance the vibrancy of the downtown, right? Or of a building that's probably 70 years old or 60 years old, whatever it is. A lot of those times we're in a deferred maintenance scenario. We've seen some Renaissance Zone projects be very needed, and then we've also seen some that have been kind of on the edge, right? The ones that are on the edge is what created the stagnant for a year where we didn't have an RZ program. So the good thing about this is that the only difference, she still has to pay the current property taxes on the facility. And the only variance she's going to get is for whatever the difference is from today's current value to what the potential could be. And that's just an estimate. I mean, what was it? It was 1.3 to 900, so it's roughly $400,000. So it's not like she's getting a whole break as it was before prior to the change where they got everything. Some of those scenarios are good for us because it helps, just like when we approve letters that go to the state for them to buy down interest rates. Every dollar that we invest back into our city comes back to us in some type of property tax reform, right? Or not reform, but in some type of property tax. So if she's specifically putting something in this building for hydrotherapy or facials or whatever that is, that's just her business. It'd be no different than if there's large computer screens that go on walls for CPAs or doctors or whatever they need. We don't determine on an RZ level, or it should even at a city commission level, as to what we're going to approve or not approve based on what you put in your building. It's not our building, so why would we have that type of input on that? We have some rules and regulations on what can go on the outside, so it meets the downtown design review and those types of things, but that's just to make it more cosmetic and more kind of natural occurrences, or not really natural, but more, Daniel, help me out here. I'm looking for a word, dude. Streamlined, or, things they have a color for a reason, so.
Well, so, I mean, she answered some of the questions that I didn't have answered for me a week ago with because I was wondering more about the component structural items that I didn't get to that last week, and so that was helpful for me to understand it, because it wasn't really in our presentation either. So, Commissioner Risch.
The estimated property tax benefit, $29,600, is that spread over like 5 years or 10 years, or what is it? That's 29,000 divided by $6,000 a year, something to that effect, for 5 years?
Yep, Commissioner Risch, that you've got it. That's exactly how this is calculated. And as Commissioner Zanker said too, this is a purely an estimate. This is estimating that the valuation in this building would go up from about $787,000 to $1,200 to about $1.2 million. So we don't know, but that's the estimate at about $30,000 total over the course of the 5 years, and then another $30,000 total over the course of 5 years in income tax exemption from the state.
Which, Mayor and Commissioners, the income tax is a state scenario, so we have nothing to do with that.
I appreciate the comments, because that was some of what I felt I was missing, but it was a whole different topic last week, so. Any other comments, Commissioners? Commissioner Risch.
I guess the good news is it's only a reduction in taxes from the increase in value, not the entire structure.
That's
because of the changes that were made at the Renaissance Zone rules.
Yep. Okay. Commissioners, if there's no other discussion,
Move to approve as presented.
Second.
any further discussion? Hearing none, we'll call roll.
Commissioner Cleary?
Yes.
Commissioner Risch?
Yes?
Commissioner Zanker?
Yes.
Commissioner Connolly?
No.
Mayor Schmitz?
Yes. Moving to item I. Consider request for resolution receiving bids, ordering preparation of the engineer's statement and award contract for Steed Improvement District SI 599. Go ahead, Gabe.
Mayor and Commissioners, we opened bids for SI 599, which is the extension of 15th Street from 43rd Avenue to the north towards Skyline Crossing. We had two bidders on the project, with the low bid being Northern Improvement Company with the low bid of $185,949.99. Our recommendation is to award to Northern Improvement Company. Take any questions that you may have.
Any questions, Commissioners?
Move to approve as presented.
Second.
Is there any further discussion? Hearing none, we'll call roll.
Commissioner Risch?
Yes.
Commissioner Zanker?
Yes.
Commissioner Connolly?
Yes.
Commissioner Cleary?
Yes.
Mayor Schmitz?
Yes. Item J, consider request from the Administration Department to provide an update on this strategic plan. Doug?
Mayor and Commissioners, if you recall, back in November, you approved the most recent update to our strategic plan, and during that discussion, you had requested quarterly reports. And so this is the first quarterly report for our recent update. But before we start on that, I wanted to bring this to your attention. Each of you received this at your station there. This is the printed copy, the finished printed copy. We worked with Odney to create this document. So this is what you approved back in November. Now, our strategic plan is a living document, and things may change over time, but as a reference point in time, this is what we approved back in November. So, do you have any questions about that before I get into?
I just got one thing, Mayor and Commissioners. So I will, the challenge when I was on the strategic plan in 2019 was to make sure that commissioners kept that with them. So if we ever need to reference it during meetings or whatever, or things that we're at, so we kept our vision moving forward, right? So I'll make that challenge to you as well, that you make sure you bring this to every meeting. I only got 4 left after tonight, so some of us are excited about that, especially my wife. So I will challenge you guys to do the same thing, because the team that put this together did a fantastic job. And I'm super excited to watch how this carries out, because I can still watch from afar.
Thank you.
No problem. Did I steal your thunder?
No, not yet. Not yet. Okay. Also in your packet, you received an actual report. So this came out of our Invisio, or our reporting software. And I'm going to take you to our public dashboard, which is something new that we haven't had before with our strategic plan. I'm going to show this on the website. That's the easiest way to get to it for the public. So this is public facing, and then staff will report on the back end, and it'll be updated every Monday, 7 o'clock. It updates everything that's been put in. So our staff will receive a request about 2.5 weeks before I'm going to give a report, and they'll put their updates in, and then it'll feed into this dashboard automatically. So it's a pretty efficient process. So if you go to the administration page on our city's website, you can scroll down to the strategic plan. And on the strategic plan page, there's a couple ways to get to this public dashboard. You can, in the paragraph here, there's a link, or you can go to the left, top left corner, and click on the public dashboard. So across the top, you can see the strategic focus areas, which are in your document you have in front of you. But then as you scroll down, you can get an overall update. And remember, we're just a few months into the strategic plan, so 15% is where we're at so far, 3 months in. And then you see some colors here. It just shows what those colors are, just a status. So we have an in process, so that means we've hit a start date for a goal or an objective, and we have something to actually report. The purple means that it's upcoming, so we haven't hit a date yet where we should have an update on that. And that, you're going to see a lot of that in your report that you had in your packet and on this public dashboard. A couple colors that we should discuss a little bit are the yellow and red. Those kind of look scary when you look at them. You know, yellow means slow down, red means stop, but that's not what this means when we're reporting. It's just a different way to relate information, and they stand for minor disruption or some disruption, and a major disruption is red. And that just means there's just been a change in the path. It could be we don't have funding, or we haven't been able to hire somebody. In the case of the street utility fee, for example, we decided to change route and not pursue a vote in June. So there is some disruption there on that update. So that's just an example of what that could look like. But if you go into the different strategic focus areas, you can get to it from the top, and you have the different goals drop down, or you can go down here and it shows it again. So I don't know which you can. I'm going to go into infrastructure and development since I already mentioned it. You can see there's some colors here. There's some actual updates, and this is a lot of the work that Gabe has been doing with the half-cent sales tax extension and with the utility fee work, and then also with a lot of the buildings that we've been working on. We have a lot of consultants hired right now to do architectural work for the police station, for the fire station, and for this building as well. So there's a lot of updates there. I guess I don't want to go into this a ton. We could spend a lot of time going to each strategic focus areas, but you guys have that report in your packet. But if there's anything specific I can answer for you regarding where we are right now in our strategic plan, I'd be happy to do so.
So just one, and that's probably more, and I may have missed it when you said it, but how frequently is this public-facing dashboard updated?
Every Monday, if
Okay.
there's updates.
So
So
I think that's a great thing for our community to be able to see how we're moving.
You probably won't see updates nearly that often. Quarterly, a few weeks before I would do a report is primarily when you're going to see updates.
Yep.
But we've had some directors that have provided updates earlier
Okay.
in the process. So, yeah. And we're going to do some social media on this, letting our citizens know that we have this available as well.
Yeah. I really like the public-facing dashboard. I think that's a great enhancement. So, Commissioner Clary.
I don't have any specific questions about it, but I know when we originally started talking about this, one of my main sticking points, and I think we kind of, everybody felt similarly, is that the strategic plan should be actionable and you should be able to check things off as you progress. It shouldn't just be a document, like Commissioner Zenker said, it lives and changes. So this progress report and being able to see it lively get updated, I think is a huge, big step in the right direction from the growth that we've seen with these past reports or past strategic plans. So I think that's really cool, not only for our citizens, but I think for us too, getting the quarterly updates, but then also getting to see, as you scroll through this, goal 1.1 has an update, so I think that that's really cool because it's very specific to the individual goals within the plan. So I really like that. I think that's a huge increase to visibility and progress for us. So thank you. I know it's a team effort, but it's really great.
Are there any other comments?
Mr. Chairman, Doug, I'm wondering how you come up with the percentages. I mean, I see the percentage in progress, this, that, and the other. That's kind of challenging to figure out the percentages, or you?
Yeah,
how's
so
that
each
work?
of the goals and objectives, there's tasks below it. So if one objective would have 3 tasks below it, they're simply just dividing it into thirds and drawing a percentage off of that.
Any other comments? Doug, do you have anything else that you want to share?
I don't think so. The next one will come in July.
Okay.
And if there's anything you would like changed on the report or more information for the report that's in your packet, that one's a very high level. It's the first one I have done. So there's more that I could do. If you would like to see more in that, I'm happy to explore and figure that out. But you'll get a lot of information from the dashboard as well.
Okay. Thank you.
Yep.
Is there any other business? Commissioner Risch.
I just want to give a shout out to Public Works, not my portfolio, but they did a good job last week on the spring cleanup. But I did notice that a neighbor had put some paint out. And of course, they don't pick up paint or hazardous materials and things. But I want to remind the public that actually at the landfill, we've got something called the Reuse It store. You can bring paint, stains, pesticides, herbicides, hazardous materials. There's some things they don't take. But as a Bismarck resident, you can take it there. And the better news is, you can also take whatever you need that they have on the shelves. Alicia Doctor is running the thing out there, and she's got some people helping, so you can go in there and take your things as a Bismarck resident. Non-residents have to pay to bring such things, but Bismarck residents get to bring that, plus electronics. And then they have it all neatly arranged on the shelves, and I've gotten oil and paint and all kinds of things. So it's a good thing for our community that we don't process these hazardous materials. We actually allow our citizens to deposit them and other citizens to reuse them. So a shout out to Alicia and Public Works for what they did last week and what they continue to do. And that store is open, 7 to 3 p.m. Monday through Friday, and on the first and third Saturday, 9 to 2 p.m. That's what I got.
Okay. Any other business? Commissioner Clary.
I was just going to embarrass you a little bit. It's the mayor's birthday tomorrow, so happy birthday. That's all I have. No, I'm not going to.
Did you bring cupcakes?
I didn't. I
So
should
no
have.
Betty Crocker in the crowd, or what?
On that sad note, we'll adjourn.